Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What's the most disturbing piece of audio there is? Jim Jones talking into a microphone while his followers poisoned their children. This was the one that came to mind for me. Forcing those kids to take poison. They had many of the children poisoned before the mothers, so the mothers were more willing to drink. Truly sickening. What made the death tape even more haunting was that because the tape had been used so many times to record stuff, faint backward music is barely audible while Jones speaks from the back tape. Just a technical point, but that effect on magnetic tape is called print through by audio engineers. Now you know. It makes the whole thing sound haunted, which it pretty much is. Saying shit like, it's just a little drink, and they go to sleep, that's it. Just go to sleep. Stop crying. Tell our children to stop crying. They are going to a better place. While you literally hear wailing of children reacting to drinking cyanide-laced drinks. Yeah, this one takes the cake for super fucked up shit. For anyone curious enough, this podcast has everything you never wanted to know about this tragic shit story. https www.transmissionsfromjonestown.com/edit. Not for the faint of heart. Even though it's all audio, the Kool-Aid death tape will do some serious damage to your soul. Definitely one of those, you can't unhear it. It's not until one of the last episodes. But she plays it in full and unedited. Only brief pauses to shed some context into what Jones is saying during his speech. Jim Jones' son points out how his father was too much of a coward to drink it himself. Instead he had someone shoot him. ETA found the interview where Stefan talks about it. It's at 43 minutes https://u2.be/c3yzkjvxe4. Yeah, cyanide poisoning isn't a quick and painless, go to sleep, death either. It's pretty violent. And can take upwards of 15 minutes to complete the job. Yeah, the part where he tells the mothers to quiet the kids is so fucked up. I listened to the whole thing out of curiosity and it ruined me for weeks. Fuck that piece of shit. The 911 call of the woman whose chimp was eating her friend's face. Why do people have primates as pets? They do not make good pets. Can y'all stop replying? You're all saying the same three things. Skull. Hey, my toddler makes a great pet. Travis the monkey! Exclamation mark. My GF is obsessed with this story and it's actually nuts. He was often given Xanax in his morning tea to help calm him as he was naturally very agitated towards anyone who wasn't his owner. And on the day of the incident he saw his owner's friend remove her glasses and put her hair up, and that triggered him to go into a drug-fused rage where he didn't register pain or respond to his owner for a pretty big chunk of time due to the Xanax. He degloved the victim, as well as tore off her nose and ears and parts of her cheeks. Fucking terrible, all while his owner stabbed and beat him repeatedly. On top of being stabbed multiple times. He was also shot up to 15 times during the actual incident by cops and did not die till hours after. The drugs from his tea wore off. Initially officers thought that the 911 call was a prank call too, so they hesitated on dispatching officers until other neighbors called as well. Before shooting up Parkland Sandy Hook Elementary School. Adam Lanza called into a morning radio show and did a whole interview about Travis the monkey. It's really eerie. https://u2.be/xwid2ggk4. Good news though. I've seen more recent pictures of the woman's face and it's been totally reconstructed. She looks great. She's living a much better life now that she doesn't have to wear the veil. It's a shame she got sucked up and eaten by that alien, though. She's blind though, isn't she? The 911 call of the lady stuck in her car in a flood and the operator is so unhelpful. She ends up drowning on the other end of the phone. If it's the same incident I'm thinking of, that happened near where I used to live. That 911 operator was not only unhelpful, she took her damn time sending anyone out to help the driver. And instead of being fired or charged with anything, she was allowed to retire, and the county just kind of hand-waved it away, saying there was nothing they could do because she'd already retired. Removed. This hits home. My nan had a medical alert necklace. She pressed it and lay there dying, respiratory issues, unable to do anything else. The person working with the alert company called 999 and the two of them chatted away. They clearly worked together every night, without a care in the world. Their communication was also awful. So the 999 operator heard multiple things wrong and the alert operator didn't correct them. Neither checked the info at the end. So it was considered lower risk than it was. The ambulance took 4 hours, instead of the about 10 minutes it would have. She died. Maybe she'd have died anyway. But still, after the complaints procedure the operator was brought in front of a panel of senior officers and our family, where they basically played the audio back for her, tore her a new one and asked her to resign. Which she did. Asked her to resign, is still being generous to her. In that situation they should be fired for gross misconduct and have their pension, benefits rescinded. Allowing them to resign means they can honestly state they've never been fired. They retain their pension etc. It's this for me, too. Such a terrifying situation to be in. And your last and only link to the world is just a complete asshole. The last voice you hear is cruel to you is just too much for me. I know there are worse things, but this one has stuck with me for some reason. It's really chilling and just incredibly sad. The last voice you hear is cruel to you is just too much for me. I don't get triggered by much. But sometimes there are these little ideas and thoughts. Ones that passed through my head during some of those worst moments. Those send me back in the weirdest way. Is that the one in Arkansas? I can't justify the actions of that call taker in that video. Having worked in my share of dispatch centers, call takers often have to develop a hard mentality. They'll get someone calling in who is screaming for their life, who is in the process of dying, who can't become coherent enough to explain where they are. It's not at all uncommon for a call taker to start yelling at a caller to try and snap them out of their days. Because callers will just often repeat unhelpful information like, "But I'm in the parking lot," or "by the store." It's not their fault. They're panicked. Yelling at the caller can sometimes snap them out of it. It's not polite, but when you have seconds to live, it's arguably the most effective solution. That particular call taker transcended trying to help into being arrogant and judgmental. She behaved with indifference to the life of the person desperately reaching out to her. IRC She resigned after saying, "Well, that will teach you," to the victim as she drowned. Edit. She had already put in her 2 weeks. And this was her final call. She did, in fact, say, "That will teach you," and other horrible things. The dispatch center defended her by saying she did nothing wrong. In keeping her employed, they upheld her as an example of how they want the dispatchers to behave. It's absolutely disgusting. E911 helps with this somewhat, but it's far from perfect. Edit. Lol at the, "You can't send her packing. She gave 2 weeks notice," comments below. Yeah to the, yelling. Haven't heard this audio and not planning to. But a while back during dinner my 7-year-old started to choke. Like full-on drooling, turning grey, panic in his eyes, no sound. As long as the cough it's not as scary, but this. Damn. So my husband started calling 112 911 and I dragged him from his chair and started doing Heimlichs. Not sure if in the end he swallowed or spit it out, but he started crying, sound. Closing parenthesis. And got some color back just when my partner got put through to the dispatcher. I took the call over to tell them it wasn't needed anymore, but since I sounded shook up she was having none of it. Demanded my address and told me not to dare put the phone down, haha. Only then did she want to hear me out and decided that yes, the ambulance was being recalled. And still she put me through with an on-duty GP to run some checks. How does the breathing sound? Any pain, etc. Super thorough. And guess what? While I was trying to calm myself and talk to these people, my son went back to the table to continue eating. Kids. GAHG.